Reading anything good?
I gotta get some easy way to turn that thing on.
Bad streak now.
I've won everything.
I did not finish on a couple items.
Next year I'll finish.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've got several on reserve.
So is it-
Nothing real good right now. Nothing real good. How about you?
I'm finishing up the Count of Monte Cristo, and this might be the best book I've ever read in my life.
We all ready?
Did you know it's like on my
Okay.
all-time list?
Tim,
I would-
start.
I'd like to call the Ravenna City Council meeting for July 6th to order. Before we get to the business of council, we have a presentation. Mayor Seaman, if you would do the honors.
We have a special group here tonight with us. A few weeks ago, there was an event that was in the Pocket Park, the best event I have ever seen over there up to this point in time. They were after, it's the Purple Heart. We want to be a Purple Heart community. And the Purple Heart was originally established by General George Washington as the badge of the military merit on August 7th, 1782. So this is very, it's steadfast in the development of the United States to where it is today. Whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use. It is awarded in the name of the President of the United States of America to members of the armed forces who have been wounded or killed in action while serving our nation. And whereas the Purple Heart symbolizes sacrifices made by brave men and women who have shed their blood in defense of the freedoms enjoyed by all Americans. Whereas the city of Ravenna recognizes the courage, dedication, and selfless service of all military personnel who have earned the Purple Heart, and acknowledges the tremendous sacrifices made by these veterans and their families. And whereas Ravenna, Ohio residents are deeply grateful for the sacrifices of Purple Heart recipients and wish to honor their service, patriotism, and commitment to protecting our nation and preserving our liberty. And whereas the Military Order of the Purple Heart, a congressionally chartered veterans organization, has worked tirelessly to foster an environment of goodwill and appreciation for Purple Heart recipients and all other veterans. Whereas the city of Ravenna finds it fitting and formally recognizes that the Purple Heart recipient and demonstrates its support and appreciation for those who have borne the wounds of war in service of our nation. And whereas the city of Ravenna encourages all citizens to recognize and honor the service and sacrifice of all Purple Heart recipients, military veterans, actively serving members, and their families. Now, therefore, I, Frank Seaman, the mayor of the city of Ravenna, Ohio, on behalf of the city council and the citizens of Ravenna, do hereby proclaim the city Ravenna to be a Purple Heart community. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Ravenna to be affixed on this 6th day of July 2026. Now, we have some folks that were there with this. It was quite a stirring event that was held across the street. But we wanted to reinforce that our commitment, we as a city have a commitment, the whole county has a commitment to this group. And we have some people here that, let them introduce. You're going to speak first, or who's speaking first? Okay.
Well, hi, members of council. It's good to see everyone. My name is Stephen Farhat. I'm a lifelong resident of Ravenna, and it's a very proud moment for us to be here. I'm the chairman of Homefront Heroes of Portage County. We're a brand new 501c3. We started in August of 2025. We have a board member that's a member of your very own, Paul Moskin. And we've gotten together initially because many of us are veterans, many of us are part of military families, or we just care about the cause of veterans very much. And we got together last summer and we thought of just a group that does great things for veterans in this whole county. What can we do? There's always more work that can be done. And we have done a lot of great things over the past 8 months. I encourage everyone to look on our website. We've been very active here in the Ravenna community, delivering gifts to the retired veterans at the Vista Veranda Community Center. We've done a lot of supply drives for the local veteran houses. We've just done a lot of great things, and really the highlight of our time has been declaring the county a Purple Heart County, and that was a lobbying effort on part of our group, as well as Linda Dillon, a Gold Star mom, who we've had the privilege of working with. She's been truly a blessing to our group, as well as our great auditor, Matt Kelly, and our entire board who's standing behind me. It has been a team effort from the start, and it's a true honor to stand here before you with this accomplishment that we have for our community. This absolutely means a lot to our veterans. It means a lot to veteran families and the entire community who cares very much about veteran causes. And we just want to thank the Ravenna City Council for supporting us and for honoring us here today. And I'm going to let Linda talk a little bit, as well as anyone else from our group that would like to speak on this effort. So we just thank everyone again.
You?
This summer, I was very blessed to meet this organization. They're near and dear to my heart. As a Gold Star mom, that's what we do, is we go around and we support anything and everything to help the military men and women who did sacrifice their lives or came home wounded. So Purple Heart is definitely one of those issues, and I was lucky enough to meet this guy who says, hey, would you like to be a Purple Heart recipient and have your township or city? And I said, I don't think you understand where I live. I said, I have a township, not even a stoplight, yet. And I said, but yeah, I'd be willing. And he said, well, we can do, bigger if you've got a bigger city near you. So knowing that, I said, okay, here's my number. I'll call you in a couple months and we'll get this started. So coming back to Edinburgh, Ohio, I started talking to people. My township trustees were definitely on board. They've been very supportive of everything I've done in memory of Ben, my son. And they also said, whatever we can do, we will help. And then I got to meet Stephen, and I met Matt Kelly, and our minds just kind of went a little bigger and kept going farther. We said, well, let's try the city of Ravenna first. And then the next words out of somebody was, oh, let's do all of Portage County. So then when I called Mr. Ferris back, he said, yep, we can do all of that. And I said, okay, you're on. So long story short, May 28th, we put on that event where we honored all of the cities within Portage County, and we currently are going to ask any of the townships if they would like to do this same thing and have a proclamation, that are within Portage County. So thank you from my heart. It means a lot. And it's my privilege to read this proclamation on this plaque that we are giving you in honor. So it says, the Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride to the city of Ravenna, Ohio, for your dedication and support honoring America's combat wounded veterans, becoming the Purple Heart City. And I get to give this to you again. None of them are running up.
I'll just, that's a hard act to follow right there, those words. But hey, thank you, Ravenna. I really appreciate your support. What this tells people on the way into Portage County, because there will be signage on the way into Portage County saying that we are a Purple Heart County. It just tells people when they come into this county how veteran friendly, veteran supportive we are, which really says a lot about the entire community. So I appreciate your support, a lot of support around Portage County. I'm a huge veteran advocate, a veteran myself. So keep, Stephen said, look at his website, look at my social media, any veteran stuff that I'm doing, you'll see on there. But that Purple Heart ceremony was very, very special for Ravenna, but also all of Portage County. So I appreciate it, Mayor and Council. Thank you. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
sure.
please.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
sure. Yes,
Council can be in the background.
somebody help them out there. Take the
Get up
picture
or
for
we
them.
Usually we just sit back here. Kind of almost facing the page.
We can get the podium out of the way.
Yeah. Hold on a second, they're gonna get the podium out of the way. Yes, by there.
There you go.
Thank you.
What was that?
Mr. Kelly, I'd like to thank you as well. We have a 100-year-old World War II veteran in Ravenna who is looking for help to get his flagpole fixed, and thank you very much for going out there and assisting him so he could have that for the floor.
Yes, thank you. She had tagged me, and no sooner did I think about, after I saw it, you had already had it done, so that was teamwork, so thank you.
Okay.
You aren't forced to stay here.
Oh, yeah.
Bye. Nice meeting you, Mrs. Dillon.
All right, then, we'll proceed with our agenda tonight. The next item on the agenda is a moment of meditation and silence. You could join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Gregor, could you call the roll?
Mr. Kelfi?
Here.
Ms. West? Here. Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Here.
Mr. Maravich?
Here.
Ms. Michael?
Here.
Mr. Harper?
Here.
Okay, all are present. All right, next item is delegations from the public. I know we have two speakers that have notified us. I'm going to let Mr. Flowhouse go first. If you could just announce your name and get into your comments for city council.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Rod Flauhaus. I'm the owner of the record store here in Ravenna. And here to talk about a problem that I've experienced. And it was a simple problem that started that should have been resolved really easily, but continued to grow and grow and expand. It started with a leak in my store. But that leak, as it continued to grow, it got unresolved by the building owner, management, and it continued to grow. And as I worked through that process, I uncovered a stack of problems throughout that. And some of those are helping to kind of, in a sense, drive some businesses away. And it hurts the ones that remain. My storefront has this recurring leak that's going unaddressed despite repeated reports. Past week alone, it was 3 times. Last Sunday, Friday, and also yesterday. Since I've moved in, it's leaked 6 times in total. Cost me $1,000 in merchandise and about $300 in store fixtures. And at first, when I go back, because when I first looked at the space, everything was great. Came back a week later to measure to see if it's really what I wanted. There was a leak already. There was water on the floor. They said, never happened before. We'll get it fixed and everything. And I'm, okay, that's fine. But like I said, it's happened 6 times to me since. I found out later that the previous tenant had reported the exact same leak in the exact same spot 6 times over 3 years. Nothing was done. There was also leakage in the back. It was never fixed. That tenant left. I've talked to several other tenants in the same building. They've dealt with recurring leaks of their own. The leaks are either caused by or affecting the resident. They're caused, we're not sure where they are. My building is a retail on the first and tenants on the, residential tenants on the second and third. And there's no simple, it's not like a toilet overflowed or something, a shower, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's not like when it rains, it happens. There's nothing to it. There's something going on in the system. But they're affecting every business tenant below. And I've talked to every one of the tenants in there, and they're affecting them. One of the retail tenants has already left. 2 more businesses in the building that are there now have already said they will be gone by the end of the year. If it keeps going in the same direction, it may force me out as well. Because I was basically initially told just put some plastic over it and you'll be fine. Or order more stock. And the stuff that I sell, you can't always find on. It's not something, I mean, I sell some pretty rare stuff, and so it's not like you can just do it, or just throwing plastic on it is not a solution. But the end result of all this is one building that's going to be less than half full of tenants. I think there might be 3 at the time, 3 or 4 at the time, that probably has about space for 7. The problem in my space continued to grow, and eventually I asked a couple of the council members to come and take a look and see what they thought. And at the same time, we had the building owner come down to talk. I wanted to talk with him once again. So before I go any further, I want to show you a video. This was all picked up by my Ring camera. So.
Hello. What's up? No, same issue. Nino, Carmen, and Paul.
Hello, hi.
Are you guys involved? Yep. Well, I want to figure out how we're going to resolve it. What is that? Well, it's the same issue that we talked about last time, and it's the same issue that the previous tenant had reported. Yeah.
Okay, we've gone through all that. Here's the bottom line.
I'm going to finish.
I'll listen to you for a few minutes and then I'm leaving.
Well, yeah, we had the same issue. Yeah. This whole thing needs to be torn up.
Well, you can't tell me how to do it. It's got to be
No,
fixed.
I can't. I now need council behind it. So if you want to work with us and have the building that people look at.
I don't care if you leave or not. Doesn't make any difference to me. Doesn't make any difference.
Why don't you just live up to what you committed to, which you committed when you bought this building? See, this is your problem. Keep talking, go talk to you guys.
I don't leave it. I'm not talking to people that are irrational and stupid. I'm fixing it. I spent thousands of dollars so far redoing a bathroom. And you don't think you aren't giving me any credit for it. I don't want this place to leak. And I'm also not going to listen to your stupidity and tell me how to do something.
First of all, Mr. Moore, I'm not stupid. I have no idea.
Well, I don't care what your IQ is. I don't think it's much more than 0. It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't care. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it.
Okay, by the way,
Or you can move. I don't care.
I'm not moving, because you know what? I'm putting the run in escrow, and I'm going to be here until this fixed. And also, July 11th, it has to be.
Being called stupid and having an IQ of 0 is not nice. It doesn't feel good. You know, I have a master's degree and I've done quite a bit. So what we have here is a building owner calling us stupid, telling us to leave, just doesn't care. What a great way to encourage small business growth and economic development. You know, and I did some research. You know, storefronts near vacant buildings are 30% more likely to become empty themselves. Vacancy spreads. A study of downtown our size around Ithaca, New York, found 16% vacancy rate and a 12.5% drop in foot traffic over 6 years, and it was directly tied to rundown storefronts. Deferred maintenance also drives out tenants who are still paying rent. Properties with unresolved maintenance issues sit vacant 15 to 20% longer once a tenant does leave. On the other side, from Main Street style programs, every dollar invested in a building returns about $18 to the local economy, largely because a cared for downtown draws more foot traffic and more visitors. I walked 3 blocks of Main Street. Well, I take that back. I walked pretty much all of Main Street. I counted more than 25 empty storefronts. You know, and a couple of them, when I say empty, I mean they might be vacant. I know there's one being evicted and some things like that, but basically nothing's happening in them. A historic district doesn't stay historic because we call it one. It stays historic because someone maintains it. Without certain types of inspection standards and maybe other enforcement, historic is just a word on a plaque bolted to a crumbling wall. Every leak we ignore, every citation that goes nowhere, every building we let slide is a vote for a different future. And if we keep voting that way, downtown Ravenna won't be remembered as historic. It will be remembered as a place of empty storefronts and condemned buildings. If this continues, the story of our historic district won't be one of a rich past. It will only be one of empty sidewalks and a decaying economy. It will be a history of what could have been and remember when. It's time for a change. No more excuses. Time to stop the planning meeting and actually make things happen and look at how we can make things grow and make things better. Solid buildings and affordable rent actually brings in small and unique businesses. Those businesses bring people, and that helps generate revenue. Just simply raising the rent doesn't bring in better businesses. You want to start small and get them filled, and that gets people downtown, and that's what causes other bigger businesses to want to come. I'm asking council to take a fresh look at everything surrounding the codes and establishments that have retail or a combination of retail and residential, and help get things in place that ensure safety, upkeep, so that small business owners like myself can not only survive, but we can grow and flourish in this town. The buildings are still standing today, but whether they're standing and open in 5 years is up to you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I don't know if you wanted to ask me questions, you can.
Does council have any questions? I would encourage you, because you seem to have a general or broad approach to how we might be able to change specifically our code, but maybe other guidelines. Any ideas you have, please feel free to forward them. You can forward them to me or the clerk, and we certainly will take a look at it.
I appreciate it.
As you know, and we've talked about it, the current code we have now only affects the external parts of the historic district, not what's internal.
Yes.
So we do have code that it would, you know, when it comes to inspections and other kinds of safety issues, would apply to the interior.
I mean, it's interesting, one of the awnings on my building is completely trashed, ripped, shreds, and the tenants have many times asked to have it fixed, and that's been let go, you know, and it is such a cool looking building, you know, and so hopefully those things can be addressed. Again, I thank everybody.
I know, I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but at one point with our JED money, there was talk about a plan being possibly presented to, I thought, the building owners, and I don't know where that ever happened to, where, I don't know, Tammy, some of the funding was supposed to help with a plan to revitalize our downtown with some of that money that we received from the JED that was going to be an economic development funding for that main reason. That we had heard about that. It's been about a couple years, I think, since maybe even receiving that funding from Ritztown. Is that money still there?
It's there. It isn't.
Has it been used, or
It's been used.
do we know where that plan is, or if that's still going on, Frank, or?
The plan is still going on. Some of this should not have been done in here.
Okay.
It met twice with this gentleman. And we worked out a game plan that I intend to follow with that. And I wanted to call back. I called him back last Thursday
You did, yeah.
with that. So we're working on it, yes.
I would like to put this, something like from a planning perspective of things that we can do to help these businesses downtown, because I mean, no matter how good anybody's intentions are, what's been put aside, the fact is that it's definitely in desperate need of attention, our downtown area. And, I mean, we want people to come here, stay here, make it attractive for everyone. And, I mean, I think that Mr. Flauhaus has a point that if we, you know, if we have a lot of vacant buildings, people might not want to invest in coming here. But I also have some serious concerns about the building owner and what type of conflict that presents, having a building owner sitting on our design review commission, and also his behavior towards Mr. Flauhaus and Mr. Moskin and myself, and that this is somebody that sits on design review and somebody that Mr. Flauhaus would potentially even have to interact with should he make an application to DRC. And so I think that, I think it's appropriate to kind of, and I know that the hair is going to stand up when I say open up the discussion again about the Design Review Commission, and maybe just to remove the conflict, even if we take the people out of it and the history, that there shouldn't be people who own buildings in the downtown that are also on the DRC. I think because it can potentially present a conflict of interest like we're seeing right now.
I just had more of a general comment on just renting a space, and I'm looking at Mr. Finney for this one, because maybe you could help. So if I'm renting the apartment upstairs and I'm paying my rent and I'm having issues and the landlord's not addressing it, I could put that money in an escrow account until that issue is addressed. Does that same apply to renting a business space? So have you explored that?
I've already done that.
Okay. I just wasn't sure because, you know, as far as, like, we can certainly look towards the future, but as far as fixing the immediate issue, I'm not sure this is the body to do that. It's a direct issue with the
It's more of
landlord,
an
right?
awareness. I mean, you know, and yes, I have done. I gave them notice back in May when things, after the second or third leak, whatever, and hadn't been, I mean, I haven't been, my issues have never been addressed. I've been given a lot of excuses, so I finally went and did everything proper. It's in the courts and all of that.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you're going through with that.
And also, just for the record, you know, it's not that I don't, I'm not here to complain too, but I've also done everything I can to attract business. I advertise. I even created a video that I put out on my own a week ago. Spent probably in social media advertising about $100 on just, this is a great place to come and shop, you know, and it's gotten over 3,500 views already. You know, we're doing everything we can as individual businesses to bring people to our business. You know, whether it's, I mean, I advertise on the radio, I advertise in print, and I do a lot of social media advertising as well. And I know some other businesses are doing that. It's just more of sometimes shining a light on something that maybe hasn't been noticed as well. Because to really make a great city, you need that combination of people wanting to come in for small businesses, landlords who are willing to work and help maintain things, and then obviously bigger things like, you know, campaigns to get people here just to come. Mm-hmm. So to me, you know, the way that you know, and again, like I said, there's several businesses that are either have left or leaving in our building, and that's just, we need to stop it. So again, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, just thank you for this presentation and bringing things to light to anyone that doesn't know of these problems that are going on. The awning that he mentioned around the corner, I had seen that myself, and it's just in bad shape, and I believe it's not a good attraction. I'm not going to reiterate of all the things that he mentioned and showed. It was probably not.
Just sort of as a means to follow up, if Ms. Lodato is willing to put something on her agenda in the future regarding this stuff, if it's design review related, that's something within the committee I would also ask council to look at our comprehensive plan. There's some indicators there, and maybe at a future meeting, as we dig into the plan and start trying to come up with action items, then maybe this is something we can do. I think there's a lot of moving parts to this. Perhaps a fundamental one in what was being presented tonight is juxtaposition of having residential rental space on top of commercial, which is the way it's designed to be, but maybe we need to investigate what those conflicts might be and how we might be able to address them. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on. We have another presenter tonight, Mr. Emily. If you would step up to the podium and state your name and your comments.
Yes, thanks for letting me speak on a couple of issues, actually. I'll read them separately, but I'm Dirk Remley. I live in Ward 4, represented by Mr. Calfee. And I wanted to speak on a couple of issues that have come before this body in recent months. One is the data center discussion. I'm going to put that aside, coming on the heels of Mr. Plowhouse's presentation. The other one, which is somewhat related to Mr. Plowhouse's situation, especially with the small businesses, is the issue of the income tax levy. Some things that I wanted to share with the council in terms of the messaging, and also what council and the city administration frankly needs to understand. My messages have gone through a number of iterations, revisions, so I appeal to your patience to some degree. What you have in front of you may be much longer than what I have that I'm going to read from, and that's a good thing, I think. Gives you time to review more information while hopefully limiting how long we need to take on these particular statements. Again, the first one pertains to the income tax levy for construction of City Hall and emergency service departments. As council has noted, there are many challenges to passing an income tax levy in Ravenna, Ohio. Residents recognize limits to generating tax revenue in the city, and they observe the city making decisions that directly impact such limits positively and negatively. Coming off the recently passed school district levy and reassessed property valuations affecting taxes, residents feel economic pressures growing at a fast pace in a city that already has among the highest income tax rates in the state of Ohio. It also appears that the school district will place a renewal levy on the ballot, continuing the current strain of property taxes. So we will be seeing multiple levy efforts. The city needs to consider messaging associated with trying to pass an income tax levy. It needs to target residents in general, even though residents account for only 35% of total revenue. Many residents are reminded annually that Ravenna's is the highest income tax rate in the county and among the highest in this state. 3 points that I want to identify that residents need to know about, and that should be involved in the messaging that the city puts forward. Efforts that the city is making to acquire funding beyond taxing residents. This would be loans, grants, assessment of architectural needs, as Mr. Finney called attention to or suggested in the recent Committee of the Whole meeting. Indeed, Mr. Finney pointed out consultation with a firm that made some recommendations or would do a deeper study about ways to navigate budgeting for such a facility. I appreciate that as an effort to reduce the total ask and would encourage the city to pursue that $7,000 study toward understanding minimum requirements for such facilities and budgeting within Ravenna's general economic constraints. Ravenna should aggressively look into grants and loans that are available from state and federal agencies to support construction of fire and police facilities. We often hear about Ravenna's bond rating in the mayor's State of the City address. Recently it was reported as strong. So can the city use that rating to acquire loans or issue bonds to support construction? This will show an effort to obtain funding from other sources, not just from residents of Ravenna. Ascertaining how much funding might come from such grant sources may help reduce the amount needed from residents. This effort to limit the amount needed from residents should be included in messaging to the public. I include links in the longer materials to several websites that identify and facilitate searches for such funding. Second point is how better and located facilities will impact response times and staff recruitment. Okay, I sympathize with the plight that has been presented a number of times to this body and to the public about the current condition of the facilities. However, recognizing that new facilities would improve morale and work conditions, residents generally are not affected by the work conditions. How are services that the public experiences negatively affected without a new building? For example, are most calls for issues occurring on the east side of town? Placing the facilities on the east side would improve response time for that area. Moving the facilities away from the center of downtown may reduce response time by enabling vehicles to avoid heavy traffic areas faster. Does the current state of facilities negatively affect recruitment of high-quality safety professionals? Residents need to understand how they might benefit from a new facility in these ways if these actually are related. Third, basically how such taxation helps maintain Ravenna's historic small-town charm. As Mr. Plowhouse pointed out, there is a certain small-town charm, historic, that we all appreciate. Part of the message might include the notion that the income tax, while high, helps Ravenna maintain the historic small-town charm. Without this increase, the city may need to allow development of industry and business-zoned areas. Further, council needs to recognize the unsustainability of limiting potential business and industrial growth through regulations while taxing residents and businesses in an economically challenged municipality to generate city revenue. The city may need to bring in business and industry that might not be popular initially but can generate revenue streams, and here I'm thinking about the pot. Again, this is a challenging ask of residents. Income tax is just one of a number of taxes that seem to be increasing at faster rates lately. However, residents may respond more favorably if they see the city trying to seek funding from other sources as well as from residents, while also helping residents understand the impact on services they might need in an emergency and how income taxes may affect Ravenna's historic identity. Thank you. I can answer any questions you have about these particular points if interested.
Dig into another topic.
Yeah, I've got the other, but I don't know if anyone wants to speak on this.
Nice job. A lot of good information.
By the way, I don't know if you mentioned, but council has the full statements.
Right. Right. Again, I shared a much longer statement along with a number of links and other items to facilitate information for you, so that you might go beyond what I've presented.
You put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, a little bit.
The challenge for the city is that we're restricted by recent laws. The city is about what they can say and how they can message things. That law, I believe, changed a year ago, maybe. And so the levy committee behind this is made up of volunteers and whatever funds people donate to it. So it's also restricted. But I mean, but believe me, the people up here can vouch for this. There's a number of these things that I have set up here, especially in regards to the money that we receive from the marijuana dispensary, that we need to be seen, even if it's seen as a token amount, we need to show that we have skin in the game, that we aren't just putting this on the backs of taxpayers, because we do have those revenue sources. I mean, it makes a difference. So thank you.
All right, the data center item, it generally, again, viewing the committee meetings, I see we've got a new sign here on air, very exciting. It's interesting to hear the discussions, the spirited discussions at that. But the tenor at recent meetings is one of a total ban on any data center, and that's a concern for me. And at the recent Committee of the Whole, Council President Mr. Karras pointed out or suggested that we do a deeper kind of study to ascertain, benefits and drawbacks, and that was not met very well, it felt like. But I wanted to provide support for that and further discussion about that, I guess. So I'm concerned about implementing a total ban on data centers without careful consideration or with consideration that is limited to understanding generalized drawbacks only of large facilities. I genuinely support spirited discussion about concerns related to drawbacks of facilities. However, I'm also concerned about how Ravenna might limit potential growth as data center architectural engineers look for ways to reduce local water and electricity need toward generating their own electricity and recycling water systems. I am sure that they are also looking into ways to reduce noise output. Several articles online demonstrate such effort. Frankly, we are making some decisions that, while responding to concerns about health and resources, may limit opportunities for Ravenna to grow economically. I mentioned before the recent Committee of the Whole, at which President Kara suggested a more careful consideration of data centers. Ravenna and other communities would benefit from a detailed impact study of data center construction and operations on a local or even county level. And here I'm thinking about, teaming up in some way with the county commissioners. Such a study should also look into the impact, that existing industrial businesses currently operating in Ravenna have on such variables. Aside from noise of passing trains that many in Ravenna have grown accustomed to, I call attention to natural and industrial noises that I often experience on morning walks as an example of existing noise consideration and related policy. Many of these are periodic, not continuous, like the hum of industry near Route 14 between 44 and 88. And there may be other noises around that are continuous that not all of us hear, like the substation on Mill Street or the other substations around Ravenna and Portage County. That is, how much noise can a facility make that is tolerable compared to other noise in the general region? Again, an impact study should consider such questions. An issue that has received limited coverage but which should be at the front of the minds of those who live in Portage County generally is the potential need for remediation of land and soil from related contaminants, which we are all familiar with from a certain arsenal that bore our fair city's namesake and for which efforts continue. That is, what size data center facility would limit impact on soil? Data center facility construction industry is in a period of considerable research and negotiation about balancing operating efficiencies to address growing data needs with community environment and health concerns. Many of us may recall when internet access itself was treated as a long-distance phone call and billed accordingly. I remember those phone bills. And we also can think about other technologies that have evolved, cell phones and just the size of computers, in fact. Okay, so as technology developed, internet access, for example, became much less expensive and faster. Reports of advancements in architectural engineering of data center facilities show continued progress toward addressing many of these concerns. Extending the moratorium and encouraging comprehensive impact studies would benefit all as further study and negotiation occurs. Excuse me. Such information will enable decision makers, political and industrial, to design policies and facilities that benefit all. State legislators are trying to ascertain possible regulations on data centers, and I wonder if Ravenna can link its moratorium to that effort. That is, can the moratorium extend until state legislators have defined regulations? I researched both sides of the issue using several tools and a variety of search terms and prompts. If one uses search terms and prompts that focus on drawbacks only, those results will appear. I also searched Google Scholar, and I used Kent State University's eJournal Center to search for articles reporting scholarly studies related to the issue at Kent State University, my employer. Public search and generative AI tools may not be able to penetrate paywalls. In the longer materials, I provide information showing that several studies have looked into specific environmental impact associated with large regions. Almost none examine benefits and drawbacks in a specific area. Of scholarly sources, very few impact studies exist, and I provide links to some related to small and mid-sized data center facilities that describe some ways to engineer efficiencies that I'm sure the industry continues to work towards. Again, both communities and the industry are trying to navigate and ascertain parameters that balance efficiencies with community concerns. Policy needs to be informed by comprehensive study, including any consideration regarding potential contamination of land and soil and related remediation. As specific impact studies are reported and the industry refines planning acceptable acceptable parameters may emerge benefiting all. I discourage a total ban on data centers and encourage research in defining reasonable parameters and regulations that may allow economic benefits to Ravenna and Portage County while addressing environmental and health concerns. I would encourage further City Council to be proactive rather than wait for Ohio to settle on such regulations. Ravenna and Portage County show that they can take the lead on the large data center debates. Let's show that we can take a lead on regulation while encouraging reasonable facility design. Again, thank you for letting me speak on these particular issues.
I just wanted to clear something up quickly as I'm was on the committee, is we did not ban data centers. We only did a moratorium as we don't know enough information. That was, I mean, at least that was the big thing that we shared when we spoke as a committee. We don't know enough to make a good decision, to make an informed choice on what this should look like. So a ban was not, I just want to make that very, very clear, that it is just a moratorium while studies are happening, while things are being looked at. It is still very new. There's a lot of organizations that are forming and looking into things. So, you know, I appreciate all this work, but just so you know that it is not a ban.
I appreciate the clarification.
Yeah.
Again, it feels in the discussions, in the meetings that we observe, it feels like
Let me,
total ban
because
is-
you referenced me, which I appreciate, clarify, it was not the committee of the whole meeting, it was the planning committee. And to be clear, I mean, it's true, I did say, and I don't think that there's any disagreement that we want to have a balanced approach to this. The specific proposal I brought to the table was an invitation to Team NEO, a specific organization, and there was resistance to that specific invitation. I don't know, I wouldn't, because I've talked to the members of the committee outside, I don't believe anybody is, one, in favor of a ban, or two, opposed to hearing from all sides. It may have, that might have been the tenure at the moment in the meeting, but unless anybody wants to contradict what I
No,
just
that-
said, I think
No, I would just like
everyone
to-
has an open mind.
Right.
I would just like to affirm what you said. The resistance was to Team NEO because they've been, you know, more, or we just ultimately felt that that wouldn't be getting the unbiased input we were looking for. I think that after the meeting we talked, I would like to look at scientific studies. And again, we did not ban it. In fact, I would just like to say we've actually gone out of our way to mention that it's not a ban, it's a moratorium, because the bans are terrible as far as being legally defensible. And they are new. We do need time for that research. But I would like to mention this. There's never been a public meeting I've been a part of in over 2 decades where I have seen bipartisan and almost unanimous resistance to not wanting these in our community. So even if we get research telling us that maybe we're going to benefit a little bit from these things, and there are, yes, some environmental trade-offs, the fact of the matter is that the people who live in this community came out in droves and said, we do not want these, do not put these in our community. So one thing that, you know, when I look at a lot of the stuff on data centers is that they do not bring a lot of economic development. They have a lot initially while the building's being built, but then after they're built, they run on very little jobs. So it's asking what the trade-off is. And again, that's why we wanted the moratorium, to be able to investigate what those types of things would mean for our community. So, yeah, the resistance to Rob's suggestion was just the Team NEO part, not the actual part of looking into it and trying to get unbiased information.
And also, part of the discussion was how we might actually do it, right?
Right.
So,
And I think climate too, the climate going on right now as well, with the crowds that they are drawing as well. We want to get as much information, and I want to see, I know this sounds bad, but I want to hear all the negative first so that I can actually hear all the bad. And I know that's, to me, how do I put this? I don't trust.
Concerns, like
Pardon me?
getting a holistic view of all of
Yeah, there's so many concerns that I'm having a really hard trust factor with the positives because I don't know how much of the positives are tied with money and people benefiting and lives. I really, there's a huge trust issue I have. And so there's a lot of things that I have to really understand personally because with the amount of money that is tied with these data centers and the amount of money that people are making off of data centers, it's become quite scary on who you trust, who you believe, what they're telling you. And when you're seeing other communities and how they're suffering, it's scary because we live here. And is it worth risking our environment over a few jobs, maybe? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer because this is not my specialty. I represent the people here, and I try to do the best that I can to hear what all of the information. But right now, I feel very misled in a lot of ways. So.
And I went to the county commissioner meeting and addressed the commissioners about this issue. And all three of them gave feedback in one way or the other that communicated that this is something that they don't have any influence over, so they're really not going to get involved with the issue. Although I will say that at least all three of them, maybe not at one time, have shown up at various different things just to listen and hear and respond to the community. But that's a big factor. And honestly, I mean, if Columbus operated a little bit differently, I wouldn't mind tying a moratorium to waiting for the state to come down with some regulations. But we kind of did that with the marijuana.
Yeah.
And that went on it was like 2 years that went round and around, and they kept changing their mind and making up a new regulation, then going back on it a month later. So it's like really difficult to get consistency at the state level.
So let's not turn this into a debate at this moment in time. I think Mr. Rimley brought up some important issues. I just wanted to set the record correct about which meeting it was and what was on the table at that time. But your observations, I think, are fairly well represented. So we've heard you. We appreciate all the content you sent us. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So-
very well put together, by the way.
Does anybody else wish to speak to council tonight? Okay, not seeing anybody, we'll move on in the agenda. The next item is approval of the agenda. Does anybody wish to change anything? Anybody wish to take anything out of the consent agenda and put it in the regular agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then the next item is the consent agenda. In it, you can see communications, approval of minutes, reports from officials, and some ordinances that we have decided to put in there. Any comments about the consent agenda? All right, if not, is there a motion to dispense with the requirements of the city charter and the revised code of Ohio with reference to reading on 3 different days and adopting emergency clauses and approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a roll call.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. The next item is invited city officials. Tonight, we have our IT director, Mr. Bender. If you would please come up to the podium and give us your update on that little piece of paper.
Just a little piece of paper. I mean, not as exciting as everybody else has been here today, you know, so feel free to fall asleep. So anything that's new, I mean, I actually looked, it has been I did this almost exactly a year ago, so there's a lot of things between then and now, but not so much. But I guess to say the phone project is going really well. We have we have all of the city on the new phones, and then we're just waiting on dispatch over at the PD that we'll be converting over to soon. We've been working out some issues with that, and it looks like that we're going to be able to go ahead with that. It's been great. So we've updated the water treatment plant. Wastewater is going to be updated here soon with a new camera and a new phone. Water treatment is going to also be getting their new video phone at the front gate so that when people come, they can ring it and they'll be able to see them, which will be really cool. Wastewater is going to get their gate to be able to be closed. So they want to have it closed when there's a single person there for a couple hours in the morning. And they'll also have a video cam, which will be really, really nice for them. The PD is also able to do a lot of cool things with their new system. So we've got the 5 road phones that are out there for them now, and all those lines are recorded. So they don't have to come back to station, or they have to take it on, a personal call, or, that kind of thing. So we can have those recorded, then go straight to people. We've got our school resource officers now that have texting. So they have business texting, so we can keep it all on the same platform for them, which is really cool. In terms of then, to give you an update about the fiber, it's also been a year for that too. All the lines are finally run. They had a weird issue where Everstream got bought out by special money interest. So they got bought out and disassembled. So now it's like Bluebird. I think it's Bluebird Fiber, and this other other company. So there's been a delay because of that. So our project kind of got thrown around essentially, and nobody knew who was doing it, but they've sorted it out now. So we have a new project manager and all those things. The website, we do have the beta version of the website, which is really cool. I got access to it last week. I've been trying to get to it, but lots of other things have thrown themselves in front. But we do have access. We're going to start, I'm going to get the committee together. We're going to start doing editing. I'm working on getting people permissions, so we'll have much more access to that, and we'll be able to put new and interesting things on there and be able to update it more frequently and with different kinds of content. So we won't be limited, to whatever we can kind of figure out to put on there, which will be really cool. The app is also ready, which I don't know if any of you saw your emails. I've been telling you can start telling residents about it. The app you can get on your phone, it's called Hello Ravenna. That's going to be our new alerting system, but also the ticketing system. So we're hoping when we launch the new website that we'll have a nice walkthrough for the residents so that they can see how to use that, be able to send issues to us, like road sidewalks, downed trees, that kind of thing. And then they'll be able to track it and see what's going on with it through the app, which will be really cool. The Parks Department will also be able to start using that as a reminder for classes and signing people up and things like that. It'll be another avenue for them to be able to reach out, which would be really nice. We're doing several, I guess the other couple things, we're doing upgrades. So there's some aging infrastructure. So as always, we're doing upgrades. Next year, we're probably going to do updates to all of our Wi-Fi infrastructure and things like that. And I guess to address kind of like the downtown, there was brought up several times about downtown support and things like that. A reminder, as part of our fiber package, they're going to help us to redo the Wi-Fi downtown. So we'll just, I already have money set aside. We just have to purchase the equipment. So I already have all that money set aside for when they're ready to go on that. When we get all the new fiber systems in, we'll be able to redo the downtown Wi-Fi, which would be really cool. And then I guess the last thing is water treatment in addition to the camera at the front gate. I forgot. They're getting 6 new cameras and a new camera system, which is really cool. They'll be able to have long-term retention on their cameras, and they're going to be able to utilize it to be able to, with their new SCADA system that they got, which is almost done. We have about a month left on that. They've already been replacing a bunch of those panels, and it's gone smooth so far, which is nice, except this morning. When they had a power outage or lightning or something this weekend, and it knocked out one of the little fiber boxes. So I had one, luckily, so we just put that in there temporarily. But that's going to be really cool for them. They'll be able to get on their phone and just like see the cameras remotely, and they'll be able to see if they have to actually come in or not, which is really cool. And they're going digital with their phone system as well for alerts, which is really neat. So lots of things moving around all the time here. But yeah, any questions or other concerns?
A couple questions. The road phones that you mentioned from the police department, could you explain that a little bit more, what that is, a road phone in the car?
No. So each shift they have 5. I think it's 5, right? Yeah. So each shift has five cell phones. They check them out each shift. So then let's say someone calls into dispatch and is like, hey, I was talking to officer so-and-so about 10 minutes ago, can I talk to them? They can say, yeah, okay. And they can, they check in with that officer and say, hey, which road phone do you have? And they can send the call to the phone. So they have a city-owned cell phone. So for things like that, or if they need to call residents or they need to call somebody, they can call from an official city line. Okay. And again, it's recorded, which is really nice too.
Another question, the email that you referenced that went out regarding the app, I think didn't go to everyone. I think it might have just gone to the people on your committee that you were working with.
Okay.
So if it could be shared with other people on council, please.
Yeah. I'll send that out tomorrow.
I have a question. So what is our status with the contract with Quality IP? Because it's usually around this time of year that it comes up for renewal. Do we still have one more year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next year, I think actually it's not July 4th. I think it's July 7th next year.
Okay, well.
Yeah, we're going to start the bidding process towards the end of the year is what I'm planning. Trying to find I'm calling around to other places to get their outlines for bidding and just to double check what ours are. But we're going to plan on that, and then we'll have probably like a month or two opening, and then we'll get the contract awarded, and then I plan on having like 3 months, like a 3-month window where there might be a little overlap, but just so that way, if there's any problems, we're covered.
Sounds like a plan.
It was my recollection from the discussion that we had about a year ago on this and the contract with Quality IP that if we did search for a new company, the services that we would be buying is much, much reduced from what we're currently paying. Is that correct, or is that a misunderstanding on my part?
It's correct to a certain extent. So so the contract that we had to have in order for me to be able to leave without them being themselves required us to have a certain amount of hours every month. So that'll be a large portion of reducing our bill, as well as when we get rid of the phone system. Well, I shouldn't get rid of, but decommission the old phone system, we'll be able to reduce the backups for the servers, and we'll be reducing our overhead on that. So there'll be several costs that are reduced, but we'll pay less money. But my plan is with the new companies, we'll probably get some new additional services, but we'll definitely take off all of those hours. So we'll end up saving 10-20 grand. But my plan is probably putting a little flex room in there for other services too, especially with like compliances and things like that.
Other questions for Mr. Bender?
Can I expound on the phone calls for the phones for the police officers?
Sure.
He's got to get his piece in.
Yes.
Yes and no. That's Jonathan's great answer. We have 5 patrol phones that we put out on our cruisers, and they've done a couple of things for us. One, we've had where our officers have talked to suspects on the phone, they've called their house and talked to them, and they've made admissions over the phone, and we didn't have them recorded. So we worked with Jonathan. Jonathan did a great job of whatever or however he did it with WebEx is now all of our phones that we talk to anybody and are recorded, and officers no longer have to use their personal cell phone to make these calls. If we use our personal cell phones on these calls, they're considered evidence. They can be subpoenaed and taken from us in court. So this takes that out of the possibility. So they're no longer using their personal cell phones. And everybody knows these cameras, the only thing they really improve anymore are the cameras on these phones. We had, like 5 megapixels cameras in our cars that were just, bad. So these cameras now take the place of, these phones take the place of our old cameras. We had to buy every couple of years because they were outdated, the batteries died. And now it's a wireless transfer from our phones to our computers, which are in our cars. There's no logging it back on station, trying to plug them in, trying to get them to download. It's a wireless transfer. So these phones do a lot of things for us. The K9 phones track the traces. If we ever run a track, they can push a button on an app on their phone, and then it'll record their track the entire time. And I think it somehow alerts them on their phones when their dogs get too hot or the cars get too hot. So these phones are very useful for us. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, yeah. I guess to also, thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Actual compliment, geez. Also to expand on recording, it was brought up to, now I'm thinking about it, it was brought up to me that people were surprised that they were being recorded when they called City Hall.
Yeah.
And several people were concerned about that. I guess just to say that, like, we didn't technically have to put that on there to alert people that they are being recorded, but I also feel that as a public entity, it should be expected. And that I put that on there so that, later on people weren't like, why are you recording me? Or if there were problems, but it was also requested because of conversations that have been had with the public that we wanted to have on record. So that way it doesn't turn into he said, she said. We have the actual record, so that way we can clear up any misunderstandings that might happen with the public. So if anybody has a problem with it, we can always obviously turn it off. It's not like it has to be on. But
I just think that we just didn't know it was happening.
I
So
think we-
that kind of bit of information certainly I think would have been helpful when residents are coming to us and saying, hey, we're calling and this is happening. That way we could kind of explain why and those kind of things. So that I think, at least from my end, that's what it.
yeah, well, just to let you guys know,
Yeah.
yes, that.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate too, my full support for that being recorded. I am very much in favor of it completely. The fact that we're telling them about it, that's fine. But I would also say that if a single person objected to that, I certainly wouldn't take it off the system because of that. So,
Any other questions?
It encourages accountability on both the caller and the recipient, so transparency.
Pay your bills.
Well, Mr. Bender, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Okay.
As usual, you've been very informative, and you're keeping the balls rolling for us. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
All right, take a night.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on. Next item on the agenda is report of committees. Committee meetings will start a week from tonight, July 13th at 6 p.m. The first one is utilities. Mr. Moskin.
Don't have anything at this time.
All right, Mr. Maravich, information systems.
I do believe we'll be having a meeting, so.
Oh, okay, good. Planning, Ms. Lodato.
Yes.
The committee of the whole meeting will be Monday, July 20th at 6 p.m. Next is public health and safety. Ms. Michael.
Yes, I do believe we will be having a meeting. And I also wanted to say, I don't know if everyone saw in here, that Chief has some information about the fire department and some hirings and so forth. So make sure you check your packet out. There's some good information in here from the chief.
Okay, thank you. Streets and sidewalks, Mr. Harper.
We will be having a meeting.
Okay. Personnel, Dr. Calfee.
No committee meeting.
Community and economic development, Ms. West.
Yes, we will be having a meeting.
Okay. The Finance Committee will be meeting. We have a couple of items we need to discuss. Moving on to the Cemetery Board, Mr. Moskin and Ms. West, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, Mr. Moskin
No,
wasn't
go ahead.
present, so
Yes.
I haven't even talked to you about this yet, Paul. So we met last week. We've been having people come out and give us some estimates and kind of look at the roof piece. And with all that coming out, it's really been determined, and the architect agrees that the roof first is not the way to go. So, you know, we don't want the weight of, and help, I know you agree, so help me if I'm getting this wrong. Like, we don't want to put all that weight on the roof and then fix the structure and then crack the roof. So we're looking at different options and really coming up with more of a 5-year plan on how we can really spell this out. I mean, trying to get this done really quickly. I think, I know me personally, I was super excited. I'm like, yes, we're finally getting to the chapel. But we were kind of putting the cart before the horse there. So we're going to try to break it down, kind of look at really fixing the inside structure of the facility first. Lifting, we have to raise the floor inside. So when we raise the floor, fill in the basement. Yes, there's a basement in there. It's disgusting. Fill that in. You know, we could alter some things. So we want to make sure that we're doing it right. So we're going to work with the architect, work with some, you know, in discussions with contractors, work with the committee members as well as Mr. Gabriel to kind of come up with a plan over the next 5 years. We do know that the windows are last, like that's going to be the last big thing to worry about, but the roof first is probably not. We did have a discussion about, I know there's been a lot of donations made towards the roof because folks really want the roof done this year. So surprised if you're hearing this for the first time, sorry, through our meeting, but we're going to be sending out some communications to the donors and kind of letting them know, giving them information from the architect, giving them information from other organizations, kind of sharing why we're deciding to go this route. I think as we started looking at things, it just didn't make sense. I mean, we're looking at spending $120,000 on a slate roof, which I'm not sure the roof was actually slate originally when we talked about it. So kind of like looking into that detail, looking what else we can do to make sure that it's done, it's historically correct, but that it also remains for hundreds of years to come. We don't want to build something and then it crumble in 20 years. So that's kind of been the major part of our discussion. So our next meeting will probably be spelling that out a little bit more. Does anybody have any questions? Bob, do you have any questions on that?
No, I did meet with Mark Gabriel, and he showed me the basement, and the foundation work needs done first.
Yeah.
We would always start with the foundation and work up.
We want to build up.
And the
Again,
other biggest issue is there's no money to do these projects. They didn't have enough money to build the roof.
we do have the money to fix the structural piece because of monies that was set aside from the cemetery board, from the cemetery. So we do have the, so again, that 5-year planning, seeing what we can do, slowing it down, doing what needs to be done first, prioritizing what needs to be done, and slowing down the process so that we can do it and do it right. Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay. You good?
I'm fine, since I wasn't able to be there.
Oh, okay. All right, then we'll move on. Parks and Rec, Mr. Maravich, you have a report for us?
Yeah, some updates. I'm sure most of you remember this one since we held the ribbon cutting on 6/5. The summer celebration was a great event. We had approximately 800 people by the director's estimate. I remember around like 230 some odd cars. Had a counter from my bus clicking days. Anyway, summer camp is underway, and we're averaging more students per week compared to last year. Our first pickleball league is wrapping up this Wednesday. We had 8 teams registered. T-ball is coming to a close, and we had 88 registered participants. We officially opened the disc golf course at Chestnut Hills on the 1st this month with a ribbon cutting. And this Saturday, July 11th, is the Deck of Hearts concert at Sunbow Valley. Tickets can be purchased for $15 at the rack, at the Parks and Rec recreation booth during the America 250 event, online through the Parks and Rec website, or at the gate the day of the concert. Again, they were featured on season 28 of The Voice, and has played several times at the Grand Ole Opry. There. That's my update for Parks.
Oh, thank you. It's not on the agenda, but I'll just briefly mention that Main Street Ravenna is on the verge of hiring an executive director. I think this Thursday's board meeting will hopefully resolve that and actually hire somebody. And there's a bunch of other things that are going on too that I'll report on a future report. All right, we'll move on in the agenda. The next item is first reading of ordinances. The first resolution is resolution number 2026-105.
A resolution declaring the necessity for an additional 0.25 of 1% income tax to provide funds for the purpose of planning and building a new fire station, police station, and city hall in the city of Ravenna, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
This item is from the Planning Committee, Ms. Lodato.
Okay, so I don't want to beat a dead horse here really with this. It's the same exact language that we used in the May levy effort, so nothing's really changed. So hopefully this moves forward and we can get an issue number on this and get going.
Questions or comments about this resolution?
If we decide to move this forward, or when does it have to be to the Board of Elections?
The deadline is sometime in early August, but if this passes tonight, we'll certainly be well within the deadline. Any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion to suspend the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Oh, there's no 3 readings necessary for a resolution?
It's a resolution, so it's,
Oh, resolutions don't require it?
yes, it's,
Okay,
We just have to pass it.
scratch that.
Unmove that.
We were with you there for a minute, though.
Is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
I'm confused. On a resolution, we adopt an emergency clause?
That could be an accident.
Well, the emergency clause would mean it would take effect right away, otherwise it'll have to take effect 30 days.
I thought resolutions took effect upon passage.
Yeah, that was. They do, but
I don't
know why.
I don't know if that's.
I'm just
I don't know if
asking,
that's-
anyway, either way's fine.
I don't know if that's universally true.
Okay.
I would ask, and let me tell you why. This is a big issue, okay? The emergency clause, as I've said many times, excludes the public from the ability to petition to put this off. I would hate to think that we did that without voting on it. In other words, without voting on an emergency clause, we just initiated it. So I want to make sure it's the will of council. And it does say that there's an emergency clause in here, so I think we need to honor what's written here.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the suspension of 3 readings. We can look into that, I suppose.
Would have been nice if the law director
There was a
was here to
there was
provide
a
clarification.
there was a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfy?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfy?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been approved. The next item on first reading is ordinance number 2026-106.
An ordinance adopting the 2027 tax budget for the city of Ravenna and declaring an emergency.
This one is sponsored by the Finance Committee, which would be me. So you all got and of course, the Finance Director. You got the budget, we talked about this. And remember, this is just the estimates, we call it the tax budget, the official budget. We may actually try to approve by the end of the calendar year, but if not, we have until April to approve that. So any questions or comments about the tax budget? Hearing none, do we have a motion to suspend the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfy?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance includes an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to adopt it?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance is adopted. We have no ordinances on second reading, and we have an ordinance on third reading. And that ordinance is ordinance number 2026-75.
An ordinance authorizing Ravenna City Council to appoint Tim Kelfi to the Tax Incentive Review Council in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this is sponsored by Economic Development. Ms. West? Do you remember? This has been lingering for a few months.
It's in here last.
I took the spot of blank. It's been
Yeah.
blank.
Great.
for 2
Well,
months.
So we just reviewed that. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, just to clarify, there were 2 spots, and we're filling 1.
Right, but this really will fill the roles of all of the spots
Okay.
that we need to fill,
Yeah.
yes. And Tim volunteered. Tim, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
popped your name in there.
That's fine.
It is a one-time during the year event, and I actually think you'll do a great
Yeah.
job with the role, so.
So how many spots are there and like who was all on it?
It is comprised of myself, Brian Huff, and then one of the Portage Development Board ladies, Diane Farrell, they're appointed by the Portage County Commissioners. There are 2 Ravenna appointed people on it. One is Dennis West. That will probably, depending on Dennis's tenure, will get replaced when that is appointed by the mayor. And then Tim will cover 2 positions. One is a resident of the city and a Ravenna appointee. And then you also have a school board member, a member of Matt Kelly, who usually designates somebody to come, and that compromises 7 members of that board.
So is Tim the only member that lives in Ravenna on this?
Brian Huff.
Brian.
Oh, Brian Huff.
So Brian and Tim cover the 2 residents.
Okay.
So all of the requirements are now met with all of those appointees.
Okay. Other questions?
Yeah, I was confused. Now, is that the one that people submitted? I'm just trying to, because lately there's been so many boards, and I'm not questioning you, Tim. I'm just trying to figure out, there's so many been boards and things that people have offered, and I know people have applied for, so I'm just curious, like, how,
This is the annual one that approves the CRAs and the enterprise zone
Okay.
agreements and the continuation of those agreements.
It was my understanding from your email that the other person that would have potentially been interested is going to instead opt for charter review.
A lot of people wanted to be on the charter
Okay.
review.
okay.
That's probably where you're getting confused, because it
Yeah.
was mentioned
Yes.
also
Yeah.
charter
That's
review
where a
was
lot of
mixed
the
in
confusion
that.
came in, because there was a lot of, so luckily Tim volunteered himself last committee.
Thanks.
last council.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this is already on third reading. Do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance is approved. That completes our reading of ordinances. Do we have any old business for council tonight? Hearing none, do we have any new business? Okay, we'll move on to President's Remark. I'm going to be really brief tonight. I do, and Mr. Maravich already mentioned, this Saturday is our celebration of the 250th anniversary of our country, which will be done in 2 ways. One is our community picnic, 11 to 3. There'll be hot dogs, popcorn, magicians, all kinds of fun things to do. And please come out. I think the weather's going to be okay. Going to be great. The weather's going to be great. We have it officially forecast. And then we have the concert at Sunbow, which starts at 6?
7.
7, okay. So please, $15, pretty good band. I recommend you go ahead and investigate buying some tickets. The only other thing I wanted to mention is this would not be possible without the person sitting to my left. Ms. Greger does an amazing job despite all these extracurricular activities. I meet with her regularly, and I'm not sure what I honestly would do without her. But putting on this event or these events, it's inspiring to see the enthusiasm and her ability to put this stuff together. We owe her a great deal of gratitude for all the hard work she does, so thank you. Okay, moving on, council remarks tonight. Let's start with you, Mr. Mosky.
I don't have any this evening.
Okay, Dr. Calfee.
I live over on Murray Avenue, and my backyard abuts up to Havers Woods, and it's a wonderful thing to hear all the noise coming from Havers Woods Park. We've improved a couple of the fields over there, and we have had several tournaments now that have come in. The parking lot is packed on New Milford. There's kids and players everywhere, and it's a wonderful thing to see. So I want to shout out to Parks and Rec and Chris and what the work has been done over there. It's revitalizing the place for summer activities, and it's really good. It's great to hear everybody yelling and screaming over there. It's good.
Hey, well, we'll be able to get them yelling and screaming later once we get some of the lights fixed too. So
Okay,
we'll keep you
great.
posted, Tim.
It's good.
Ms. West.
I just want to quickly thank Mr. Farhat and the organizations for the Purple Heart community. You know, my husband's a veteran, so it's near and dear to my heart. And I was able to stop by the ceremony for a bit, and it was really heartwarming just to see the people and the event. So thank you guys for all the hard work.
Okay. Ms. Lodato.
I don't have much to say, but thank you, Chelsea, just not to go back, but also the way you are with promoting the event. I mean, it's just everywhere I see it, and people I know, because it's getting shared everywhere, and people are excited about it, so thank you. I guess I'm going to be listening to country music next Saturday.
This Saturday.
This Saturday, that's right.
Yes.
I even bought a dress with horses on it.
You could do it next Saturday too, if you really like it, but.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Mr. Maravich.
No comments this evening.
Ms. Michael?
Yes. First of all, I want to say that I received a box of Frisbee disc for the new Frisbee golf course from a 1990 class alumni, Mr. Tim Hack, and I have to get stickers put on them from the class of 1990. He wants me to hide them throughout the parks and encourage people to use the Frisbee disc. He sent them to me from Seattle, from Washington. Wait. Not Seattle, Washington, but Washington State he lives in. And recently he sent me 2 very expensive BMX bikes that are valued over $500. I did donate one to an individual that I found riding in our park up at the BMX place up there at City Park, our skate park. And I still have one yet to give away to somebody. So he still loves Ravenna. He always will have Ravenna in a special place in his heart, and I am his keeper to Ravenna. He'll send me stuff and through Facebook and a message, hey, you got a package coming. I want to donate to my hometown. So people can say all they want, but you know, once you leave Ravenna, you still have a love in Ravenna that I just think never goes away. And so I will be doing a Facebook video. I got to get a hold of Chris and show these little discs. But I have a whole case of them that came to me on Amazon. So I'm excited to share, and I'm excited to get, he wants to see the youth out there playing like what we used to do the Gen X days. So that's what I will be doing. I want to say thank you. And I saw Mongoose out in the audience, and I don't know if they're here to say anything or if you just were here to smile and wave. But if you missed an opportunity, if there was anything you wanted to say, I don't mean to put you on the spotlight, but we do have Mongoose here. Is there anything that you'd like to? You're just listening tonight? Okay. I just wanted to throw that out there. And also, I'll make this quick. I'd like to challenge everybody on council to at least try to sell 4 to 5 tickets for that country concert we have coming up. You know, this concert sells out every place they go. They sell out. So I think a lot of people are holding out because of the weather and not sure, you know, what's going on. But, you know, I want, I know Chris and his staff have worked really hard to get them to come here. And, you know, I'd like to see a nice show of people to show up for celebration. So, you know, I'm really pushing to get at least 300 to 400 people there. I know the goal was higher, but I know right now there's a lot of people on vacation. But, you know, I think we have a big vision out there. We have, and it's going to take time to get there, but it's also up to us to help promote it and continue that dream. So with that being said, I've got 4 people already that I have got tickets to buy, and I've been sharing, I think, every other day on my social media page to try to encourage people. And it's funny because I know he has spent money for advertisement, and some of the messages that I've sent to people about the band performing, they didn't know anything about it. So it's like, I don't know how you get the word out there any more than you do, but please share the post with your friends, family, in case they didn't see that this band is going to be there. So I'll quit talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Michael. Mr. Harper?
I just want to say that I've really been inspired and enjoyed watching all the 250th celebrations over this past weekend. And I'm really looking forward to the one that the city's putting on.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on. Mayor Seaman, it's your turn for remarks.
Well, I think that for the most part, you guys have taken everything I've written down here I was going to talk about. We'll be very busy this week till Saturday. Get through with it. Once again, I applaud our young lady that puts all this stuff together. She's brought a large group of people in to work with this and to get it so it's going to work. I work with Chelsea daily, and I enjoy working with her. She does a nice job with that. We have a lot of events this summer, and some of them have already gone by, but these events do bring people into the downtown. And we're going to look at a series of them as we move along. I'm kind of running by month to month, but the heavy lifting is, we're in the midst of that. But these are the positive things, and we get positive reaction from the citizens. And this thing, the way Chelsea has it laid out, people will leave with a lot of memorable things, and they won't have to have paid for them. She's worked hard getting money donated or things donated, even from the governor's office with that. And I think the people that come to that on Saturday will, there's no reason for any reason to be negative. It's, everything we saw on television on the 4th was positive, and they ran it all day long. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that, and they found the good things to talk about with it. And we forget, to get here, there was a lot of emphasis put in by this council and previous councils to work on the downtown with that. And we still get people that when they come here and see the flower beds in place, how pretty the town is. You have people that stop, not regularly, but now and then, and they'll come up and tell you, you know, it just looks so good now. So I'm going to leave it on a happy note. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our meeting for tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Couldn't tell what was going on in the video.
What do you?
Or was it just Hummel that was
Sam,
Hummel
you doing?
was
I
the
think
worst
you did a pretty good job in a short
because he
period of
didn't,
time.
I know you couldn't